Are you ready to make this year your best business year yet? Before you dive into those new goals, let's take a little step back. In this episode, we'll uncover the powerful insights hidden in your past year. What worked, what didn't, and where to double down for success. Don't just plan smart. Let's make sure you're set up for real growth in this upcoming year. Let's do this. Are you that driven entrepreneur who believes that working harder holds the key to your dreams? Are you drowning in the day-to-day tasks, wishing you had more time to strategize and cast the vision for your business growth? Hi, I'm Donna Dubé, your guide on this entrepreneurial journey. I've walked in your worn-out shoes, burning the midnight oil, convinced that sheer hard work was the secret to success. Just one more email, one more task, until I found myself on a one-way track to burnout. But here's the twist in the tale. I discovered that success isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about being intentional with our time. It's about steering our ship with focus, because no team, system, or automation can outperform a lack of direction. In this podcast, I'm sharing with you all the strategies for business growth that it took me years to learn. If you're ready to step out of the daily overwhelm so you can amplify your profits, then I'm ready to teach you. I believe the only limit to your business growth is the one you set for yourself. Go grab a notebook, warm up that cup of tea, and let's do this. Welcome back, small business owners. I'm so thankful you're here. Thank you for tuning in again to another new series in our podcast. I'm so thankful that you take the time each and every week to hit play and see what's behind me on the microphone. And I really hope these episodes are helpful to you. So as we're kicking off the new year, I know many of us are thinking about what we want to accomplish in this new year ahead of us. January has this way of feeling fresh and full of possibilities. And it's when we're naturally motivated to set goals and put plans in place for the year ahead. And that's exactly why I'm doing this podcast series or challenge right here. So over the next few episodes, 5 to be exact, we're going to work through a strategic planning process together to help you create a year you can look back on with pride and satisfaction. I'm calling this the Dream Big, Plan Smart series. Your year, your way, with purpose-driven planning. Alrighty, let's dive in. So when we talk about planning, first I want to touch on why it matters. And I know for some of you listening, you might shy away from planning because you may feel that it takes away from your spontaneity. But honestly, planning is what gives you the freedom to create the business and the life you truly want. Those who take the time to set clear goals and make a plan to reach them are the ones who see steady, consistent growth. They're not just constantly hustling to keep up. They're actually able to create systems, bring on help when they need it, and start focusing on bigger, more meaningful goals because they're not stuck in the day-to-day scramble. I want you to imagine going through this next year feeling organized, feeling focused, and clear on your direction, instead of winging it or constantly chasing those new shiny ideas. When you're not flying by the seat of your pants, you can notice the difference. Your clients can feel it, your cash flow evens out, and you actually have the energy to put into working on scaling up rather than just surviving. And that's what I want to help you with in this series, to build a roadmap that can guide you through the year with confidence. So the first step in this planning challenge is something that might feel a bit counterintuitive. We're actually going to start by looking back. I know, we're talking about making this year incredible, but to know where we want to go, we've got to understand where we've been. There's a ton to learn from the past year that just ended. Even if it was a challenging one for you, the insights you pull from the last year can be incredibly valuable. So think about this. If you keep doing what you did last year in this new year, you're going to pretty much get the same results, right? So if you want things to look different, if you want different results, maybe you're looking for more growth or you're looking for more time off. You need to be clear on what worked, what didn't, and what really matters to you going forward. All right, I've put together a quick little downloadable workbook to guide you through this review process. So if you would like to follow along and jot down your reflections, you can go ahead and grab that. I'll put the link in the show notes for you. The goal here is to dive deep, not just glance back quickly. I want you to go back month by month, starting from January of last year. Yes, way back, my friends, and really look at what was happening in your business. If you're anything like me, we can often remember the big wins or the major struggles, right? Those are not easy to forget. But what is easy to forget is those smaller moments that also matter. So first up, let's take a look at your total revenue month by month. How much did you bring in? And more importantly, what offers or services were driving that revenue? This is where you start to uncover what's actually working in your business. Maybe you'll find that certain offers brought in the bulk of your income, while others didn't do so well. And beyond just the numbers, I want you to think about the actual work itself. What did you enjoy? What felt fun and effortless? Sometimes the things that feel the best to us are the ones that make the biggest impact for our clients. And so these are worth paying attention to. So there's a few key areas where you can find this information. Number one, your calendar. So if you're anything like me, those important things, the things I was focusing on, are in my calendar. So head back to your calendar and review for the month. Where was your focus? What were you promoting? The second place you can look is your bookkeeping software. This will easily tell you what revenue you brought in and from which programs or services. And lastly, pop into your email marketing tools. Emails are especially helpful because they give you a snapshot of what you were promoting and when. And it can really help you see any patterns in what was working. So for example, did you have a certain program or service that you promoted on email and you had crazy high open rates and great click rates? Pay attention. What were your subject lines? How did you set those up? And on the flip side of that, did you try and promote an offer which, maybe didn't do as well? What was different about it? Were your subject lines different? Maybe you were speaking to a different audience. Pay attention to what worked and what didn't work. For those of you who've used my CEO Pulse Check, this process is really built right into this tool, and it makes it even easier for you to track your progress throughout the year. Once you've mapped out month by month, then it's time to analyze. We want to look for patterns in what worked well. Were there specific offers that were consistently profitable? Did certain marketing efforts seem to bring in the best clients, the ones that you want to work with the most? Maybe you had a particular strategy that brought in leads with less effort. I want you to keep an eye out for anything that felt not just successful, but also enjoyable. Because honestly, building a business that feels good to run is just as important as hitting those revenue goals. Now, let's flip the script a bit and look at what didn't go as planned. What marketing efforts fell flat? We've all got them, there's no doubt. What ideas or goals kept getting pushed aside? And even more importantly, what got in the way? Life happens, and there are often challenges that slow us down, whether they're external, like family, emergencies, tech problems, unexpected shifts in the market, or something internal, like a mindset block, or stress, or let's face it, just plain exhaustion. I want you to be honest with yourself and really look at the details about what got in your way last year. And the reason for this is that we want to plan around those obstacles or address them head on this time around. So we're doing it differently. All right, once we have this full picture, I want you to ask yourself, where do you want to double down? Where were you getting the best results? And how can you build on that momentum? It can be tempting to reinvent everything or to try out the latest trends. But you know what? A lot of times, actually taking the time to optimize what's already working will get us further than starting from scratch. Simplifying and refining can be more powerful than adding more to our plate. So I just want to give you an example of this. When I was doing this for myself, I participated in quite a few bundles and summits in 2024, and some were more successful than others. Some I enjoyed more than others, and that was for different reasons. Sometimes it was because of the host and their vibe and the way they set up the event. Other times it was probably more of what I was feeling, or I wasn't connected with the audience, or those types of things. So I'm going back through and looking at which of those bundles and summits were most successful for me, and paying attention to what things made them successful and what things made them not as successful. I still am going to do bundles and summits this year, but I'm going to be a little more picky about which ones I'm going to participate in, so that I can ensure I get my return on investment for the time and the effort that I'm putting towards those. So that's just one example of a marketing strategy. The same could be true for podcast guesting, right? If I go out there and I just guest on any podcast that exists, that's not being strategic with my time and my effort. So I need to make sure that the podcast that I'm guesting on has the audience that I want to get in front of. There has to be alignment there. Otherwise, it's a waste of my time, a waste of the host's time. And we certainly don't want to do that. All right, let's go now and look at the things that didn't work and ask ourselves if it's time to let them go. We all have activities and tasks that eat up time and energy, but they don't really move the needle. And this is your chance to stop doing what isn't serving you. Give yourself permission to let go of the things that aren't contributing to the business you want to build. It is okay to say no. And by the time you're done with this year in review process, you are going to have a whole new level of clarity about what you want this year to look like. It's really a simple process, but it's incredibly powerful. Getting intentional about what you want to keep, what you want to change, and what you're ready to let go of will give you a solid foundation to plan for the year ahead. And remember, if you want to follow along in the workbook, go ahead, grab the link in the show notes and download that. In our next episode, we'll be looking at designing a business that supports your life, not the other way around. All right, my friends, thank you so much for listening. Take care, and I can't wait to see you next week. Thank you for joining me on this episode of CEO Amplify. I appreciate you being part of our thriving community of ambitious business owners. If you enjoyed today's episode, I kindly ask you to share this podcast with a friend and take a hot minute to rate and leave a review. It would mean the world to me. Your feedback helps me reach more people and continue providing valuable content. Thanks so much for your support. Keep shining, and we'll catch you on the next episode.